Trump threw U.S. troops and citizens under the bus after Iran attacks. As the fallout continues to hit American families, Trump went after Iran. Now 1,300 U.S. Navy family members are forced out of Bahrain, with no clear return in sight. Iran's missiles sent U.S. families running. 6 months later, they still can't go home as uncertainty continues to grow. Iran scared America out of Bahrain, but who will bring these Navy families home after months of displacement and mounting costs? To deflect Iran pressure, Trump and Hegseth made U.S. families pay the price in Bahrain, leaving them stranded far from home. American troops and nationals in the Gulf continue to pay a heavy price for Trump's war with Iran, months after the conflict began. Nearly 1,300 Navy family members were evacuated from Bahrain as the Iran war erupted, leaving families suddenly displaced. 6 months later, U.S. Navy families still cannot return to Bahrain for the foreseeable future, prolonging their uncertain displacement. U.S. military officials claim they are offering support to families displaced by the war, but challenges remain across the community. But some evacuees allege they have spent tens of thousands of dollars covering basic living costs while away from Bahrain. Others are reportedly living in temporary housing while their cars and furniture remain behind in Bahrain, according to reports. U.S. Navy officials warn safe haven benefits can begin expiring after 180 days of evacuation, creating another looming deadline. The approaching deadline has forced the U.S. Navy and State Department to develop new support options for families unable to return. Bahrain hosts the NAVCENT headquarters along with thousands of U.S. service members and civilian personnel, making it strategically vital. The U.S. Navy reduced its presence after the Bahrain base came under Iranian drone and missile attacks during the conflict. NAVCENT Commander Kurt Renshaw called the situation uncharted territory for military families facing prolonged uncertainty. Navy officials have also told families to designate new home bases, with most reportedly being located within the United States. Officials have not provided families with a firm timeline for when they could eventually return to the Bahrain base. The U.S. Navy is developing longer-term plans for where NAVCENT could operate, according to Stars and Stripes. Taking lessons from Russia's anti-drone playbook, the UAE has adopted new methods of defense to protect critical infrastructure. The United Arab Emirates is securing crucial infrastructure with metal cope cages, creating an additional layer of physical protection. The low-tech, large steel mesh structures are reportedly designed to defend against Iranian Shahid drone strikes targeting key facilities. A viral and unverified video on X showed large metal structures surrounding fuel storage tanks in the UAE, raising questions over the new defenses. This reportedly signals the completion of steel and mesh structures that the UAE has been installing since May 2026. The cope cages are already reportedly in place around key oil and gas storage tanks in Abu Dhabi, protecting vulnerable infrastructure. Dubai International Airport, which was previously attacked by Iran during the war, has also reportedly been surrounded by similar protective structures. Fujairah Port and the Habshan natural gas site have also reportedly been secured with these metal cages, according to reports. The exact number of protected locations remains unclear, while Fujairah alone hosts around 100 million barrels of oil storage capacity. The cages are also known as barbecue grills, designed to create a physical barrier that can interfere with or intercept incoming drones. It was Russia that began widespread use of these cages around oil storage tanks and refineries as drone attacks intensified. Russia installed large steel mesh structures to help protect critical sites from Ukraine's long-range drone strikes during the war. Nets and cages are reportedly now lining key Russian sites across hundreds of kilometers along the war's front line. This comes as Ukraine continues to target crucial Russian energy infrastructure with long-range drone attacks, keeping the threat alive. Iran security chief threatened earthquake-like retaliation against Trump, according to Iran International. Mohsen Rizoi warned that Iran would strike back if Trump took further military or economic action against Tehran. He also warned Iran's neighboring countries against joining Washington's economic campaign, saying cooperation could make them targets. Not just the Gulf. Mojtaba is reportedly eyeing U.S. military bases in Europe as potential targets in a wider Iranian strategy. Iran is reportedly eyeing military targets in Europe if President Trump escalates the war, according to a report by the Financial Times, raising fears that the conflict could spread far beyond the Middle East. U.S. assets in Bulgaria and Cyprus are reportedly being considered as potential targets by Iran, according to the report, putting American military infrastructure in Europe under renewed scrutiny. U.S. refueling aircraft have reportedly used Bulgaria's Besmer Air Base, making the facility a potential target if Tehran decides to widen its response against American forces. Cyprus has also drawn attention after a British military base on the island was hit by a drone in March, adding to concerns over the vulnerability of Western military facilities in the region. The IRGC has also reportedly examined possible attacks on undersea fiber optic cables around the Strait of Hormuz, raising the possibility of disruption far beyond conventional military targets. If carried out, such plans would represent a major expansion of the conflict, taking the confrontation beyond Iran and the wider Middle East into critical global infrastructure. One source told the Financial Times that Tehran could place no limits on its response to any new U.S. attack, signaling how sharply the stakes could rise if fighting resumes. Iran's attack on a U.S. base in Jordan in July was described as its most accurate strike so far, demonstrating Tehran's growing ability to threaten American positions farther from its borders. The strike killed 3 U.S. service members and highlighted the potential reach of Iranian missiles against targets located well beyond Iran's immediate neighborhood. Some Iranian medium-range missiles could potentially reach parts of southern and southeastern Europe, according to analysts, widening concerns over the geographic reach of Tehran's arsenal. But major questions remain over the accuracy, reliability, and overall size of Iran's longer-range missile stockpile, leaving the true scale of the threat uncertain. A senior IRGC commander has issued a grave warning to Iran's adversaries, signaling that Tehran may be preparing its next move in the conflict. Iran's enemies should anticipate strategic surprises, IRGC official Yadollah Javani warned, hinting at new tactics or weapons that could catch the US and its allies off guard. Javani said Iran is now shifting from a defensive posture to a more offensive one, suggesting Tehran is ready to take the initiative rather than simply respond to attacks.
Upgrade your news experience with the all-new HD app. Download now.